Hello and welcome to Heartrepreneur TV. I'm your co-host, Velma Gallant. Super excited to have you here today. I have a really fun guest for you today. Our show title for today is Bring Play to Work. Make the most of your time. And as you know, I'm a proponent for play. So today's guest is Tiffany Kellogg. Since 2005, Tiffany has been helping entrepreneurs make more money, save time, and have more fun. Whether she's delivering keynote presentations, training, and speaking here locally and around the globe, though mostly virtually these days, writing another book, or working with people in her More Than Tiffany community, Tiffany loves helping people create the life they desire. In addition to helping people have e-Tiffany's, which are epiphanies from Tiffany, she is known for having fun, a charming Southern accent, and her signature socks. Oh, got to check out that. She has over 400 pair in her collection. Oh my goodness. I don't even have that many shoes. Her secret to success is loving what she does, and her goal is to leave it to others to decide whether she's working or playing. Welcome to the show, Tiffany.
Thank you so very much, Velma, for having me on.
Fun socks. I love that. So shoes are my bling. It sounds like socks are your bling.
I used to love the high heels, the fun, the sparkly, and somehow socks became my thing. And I will tell you, it is much easier to store and much more affordable to have 400 pair of socks than 400 pairs of shoes.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. Okay. So bringing play to work. Now, before we got on here, I shared with you that in working with Terry years ago, I came up with a term called PLURK, which is play plus work. And it sounds like you're taking that to the ultimate extreme. How and why is it so important to you to bring play to work?
Well, work is something that we have to do. And if it's that 9 to 5 that we detest doing, it makes it really hard to enjoy it. And so many of us become entrepreneurs because we want to do something. And what I think is funny is most people that become entrepreneurs end up working more than they would have in the 9 to 5 for this vision that they wanted to create. And if they're like anything like me, I didn't know I wanted to be an entrepreneur. That wasn't the life I had planned for myself as a kid or even when I went to college. I was thinking I'm going to do biology, genetic research, genetic engineering. However, once I found out that what was involved in making that happen, school, years, politics, all of that, I'm like, nah. And so I switched and became a business major. And I love business, got out of school, got that first real job. You remember, I don't know if you remember, it's like, oh, I have salary and I get paid days vacation. And I would have preferred to stay on my parents' health care. But, once you get that job and you're out of school, that's kind of how it is. And things were going well. But in March of 2003, two things happened that got me to where I am today. The first, the job that I had, the board of directors did some reorganization in the company, and guess what was no longer part of it? My role. So they very nicely offered me a severance package or a demotion. The other thing that happened that month, my mom, who had been battling breast cancer for the past 17 months, she was given a terminal diagnosis and maybe a couple weeks left to live. So, it worked out beautifully. I was able to take the severance package and spend every single day with my mom. And they hoped for a couple of weeks, but we ended up getting 3.5 months with her. You know how sometimes they say people will hang on for that special day? So on her 47th birthday, we had a huge party, invited all of our friends and family. The next morning, she had breakfast with us, went back to take her nap, and never woke up again. And so I had that time, and I'm like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Now that my job's gone, my best friend's gone, what am I going to do? And there was a friend of the family, Jackie, and she would come visit my mom at like 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, where everybody else was at work. I'm like, oh, you have your own business. You're an entrepreneur. I want to do this. So I picked up, moved to Florida, started my own business. But what I found is just because you have a business doesn't mean anybody gives you any money for that business. And this was pre-social media, so we didn't even have that going on. So I spent 2 years cold calling. I'm good at it and I detest it. Though I got invited in 2005 to my very first networking event. And it's like, I fell in love with the opportunity of what networking and referrals could create for folks. And I found that there wasn't a lot of information out there that really helped you be a better networker. And I finally got involved and figured out, there's an organization called Ascentive, and they have all these ideas to help you get more referrals. And I started implementing and doing it so well that they were like, hey, do you want to come facilitate and be part of the organization? And I'm like, this is way more fulfilling than promotional products, which was my previous business, which I loved. But now I was able to help people create that life they desired. And so many people are waiting in 5 years, in 10 years when I retire. So, I mean, I lost my mom when she was 47. My sister-in-law just passed away 3 years ago, and she was younger than my mom. And it's like, if we are waiting and waiting and waiting all of our lives, what happens when either the people we love are no longer there to do it with us, or what if we're not there anymore? And so we have to make the most of each and every day. And it can't be all play, because we do have bills to pay and you have to live and pay for stuff. But so to me, it's really important that each and every day we're able to do something that matters.
I love that. I love that, because I know I just posted on one of my social medias about, actually it was in my group. I posted about not saving things for a special occasion, right? And we do that. We're waiting for that perfect moment or whatever it is, and it hardly ever shows up. And really, what if we made today that perfect moment?
Definitely. Why not? Today is a beautiful, well, at least for me, I'm in Florida. Today is a beautiful day in Florida.
Well, it's a beautiful day here in Calgary too. I went for my morning walk this morning and saw a blue jay, which is a beautiful way to start the day.
Yes.
So, okay. So I'm really grateful that you shared your story and the importance of that message. So when it comes to adding a little bit of fun, so we know why you decided to add the fun and why you decided to make now your perfect moment. Are there things that we can do to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, a little bit more effective? Because sometimes effective is fun.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a whole nother conversation. So I'm going to start with the effective and talk maybe a little bit about delegating, though, just for a moment, because sometimes I think we want to do it all. And women especially have this tendency to, I can do it. I can be the super mom. I can be the multitasker. I can be the business owner. I can do all of this. And why in the world would you do that to yourself? Like, that's torture, trying to do it all. And so I think sometimes it's about, how can we get assistance in our life? I am a big fan of Instacart or Walmart Plus, because I can do all my grocery shopping and never have to step a foot in the store.
I do. Yeah, I can absolutely appreciate that. I can also appreciate what you're saying about women stepping in and trying to do it all. The irony of that is we're thinking, well, I don't want them to have to do it all.
Well, to me, I'm like, sometimes it's, can I get somebody in my family to help with this? Or can I pay someone to do it? Because yes, you could clean your house, though. If your house doesn't bring you joy in cleaning it, why do it? And so I have a coaching client that I was working with, and she detests it. It would take her all day Saturday to clean her house. And I'm like, what would it cost you to get your house clean? And she got a quote. She's like, it's $100 every 2 weeks. I'm like, what if you took the time that they're cleaning your house and you just work solely on your business, let them do the cleaning? Do you think that you spending 3 hours working on your business is going to get you a better result than you spending 8 hours cleaning? And she was like, oh. And those 3 hours a week, because that's how much the person charged to come and clean the house, that became some of her most productive. Terry says, no more house cleaning, not for 40 years. Again, if that's your therapy, that's totally fine. So I know this is a little off topic of bringing play to work, though. If we can free up some more of our work, our free time. So, if we think about being an entrepreneur, we are always on, even if we're not always thinking about the business. If I spend 8 hours on Saturday doing housework and 8 hours on Sunday doing the yard, how fresh do you think I'm going to be come Monday morning if that's what my work schedule looks like?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know that that kind of awareness is really important, whether you're in a career, a job, or you're in a business as well. Because I'm going to tell you, house cleaning is not one of those things that brings me peace. Although I do have to admit that I've got some brilliant ideas while I've been doing it. And I can get brilliant ideas going for a walk by the river too.
And I was
So
just thinking I could get brilliant ideas at the walk on the beach. So yeah, walk on the water, body of water sounds much better than cleaning my house.
absolutely, absolutely. So delegating some of those tasks or chores that don't bring you joy so that you've got the energy for those things that are effective and do bring you joy.
Yes. Now, getting
Okay.
back, because I know that was a little tangent to this idea of play at work. So I don't know about y'all, but do you like getting more referrals in your business? I know I love referrals yes, right? It's like, given the choice, I want referrals to grow my business. And so sometimes people think about referrals. I'm going to go join these networking groups and get lots of referrals that way. There's a
Mhm.
mind shift though that we need to do, because it's not about the groups that you're a part of. It's about the relationships you're in. Those groups just bring you into contact more frequently than you might on your own. And so as I look at my network, one of the exercises I like to do when we're talking the referral side, I talk more time in referrals. We're going to kind of combine the two today, is create a list of who are your top 12 referral sources. These are names, not companies, not organizations, actual people that you have a relationship with. And then you want to spend time with them, because we've got to teach them about our business, learn about their business so we can create that flow of referrals. However, what I find is most people don't care what you've got going on until they actually care about you, and until you're able to create that emotional connection with them.
Mhm.
And so instead of let's go to Panera and sit down and have a coffee and talk business, or let's go to Chili's and grab something for lunch, here's where the fun comes into play. Because wouldn't it be better if we went on a walk by the river? Or if we went golfing, maybe we went out on the boat. Like, could we take something that we love to do already, assuming that the other person enjoys doing that too? And instead of having our meeting in the office, let's go do it in the sun or with the fun. And we're creating memories, though we're also creating that emotional bond. We're creating that heart to heart connection, because we're getting to know
Mm.
the person. And we're going to much more remember that round of golf that we played versus the stale pastries at the coffee shop.
You know what? I really love that. I think that we get so wrapped up in how we're supposed to be doing business that we forget that there are a lot more fun ways to do it. Yeah, go for a walk by the river. Go for a hike to the mountains. I live near mountains, so go for a hike to the mountains. Go for a day trip to, Banff, and go have your coffee there instead of in the city you're in. Things like that. I love that idea, and I love what you say, because it creates a deeper connection and actual memories. And I would hazard a guess that those kinds of memories make your connections more memorable.
Yes. And when you're more memorable and there's a stronger relationship, people want to do more to help you out, and vice versa.
That makes a lot of sense. Um, and I think too, when you get into, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong with this, but when you get into those more personal environments, it makes it a lot easier for you to be a more open to hear, more open in how you speak, all of those different aspects of being in relationship. Yeah, we've got somebody who's they're like, meet at a museum. She'd go for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Right? Like, that's a brilliant idea.
I love the museum. I don't think I've had that on my list before. I like that.
I choose arcade.
They have a retro bar down here. It's 70s and 80s themed, And
Mm.
so they've got fun drinks and vintage food and all the arcade and the music. And it's just like a fun, chill place to hang out with. I love going there and seeing who can beat who at the basketball hoop or at skee ball. Like, let's just have fun with it.
Well, and even things like, okay, let's go for a
Yeah.
manicure together. Let's go for a pedicure together, little things like that. I mean, depending on who it is. I don't know how many guys are into
Oh no,
pedicures
I
and
know a
manicures.
pair of guys that go to get pedicures together. It's like they bring other people, they make a thing out of it, like every 2 months or so they go get their pedicures and they talk to each other, and it's like these manly men, and it's just hysterical to watch them do that.
Right. And what about ping pong?
Ping
Right? Like
pong
there's
works.
right. So I think I really love what you're sharing here. Like, get creative and get fun with the networking rather than just showing up at your BNI meeting and doing your 1 minute spiel. And then, not to say that those aren't valuable, because they are.
Two
And
different
at the same
things.
time, what if you created a deeper relationship with some of those people?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
What because at the same time, when I'm creating a deeper relationship with someone, I can actually hear where I can be of service to them too, because it's not all about me.
It's got to be both ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Okay. So how much time have we got? Okay, we're doing good. What other tips might you have about being able to create a little bit more fun, or even saving a little bit time so that we have more fun? Because we talked about delegating those things that don't bring you joy.
Right.
So that's definitely a time-saving tip in order to give yourself the time for more fun. Because somebody's cleaning my house, I can be out walking by the river with somebody.
Yes, definitely. Okay, I've got like 7 things in my mind. Let's go this direction first. So this is just kind of an add-on to what I just shared. So if you've got your referral partner that you want to help pass each other referrals, you could do all the activities that we just talked about, but instead of the 2 of you, each of you bring a good prospect or referral source for the other, and make that introduction in a much less stressful, less business environment. Business won't typically happen right then and there. However, hopefully it will happen down the road. So that's
Right.
kind of like an add-on to the previous one. Use that for the introduction.
I like that, because then it's also a little bit it's a softer approach rather than email. So and so meet so and so.
Right.
This is what so and so does, and blah blah blah. Right? Like it's not quite so formal, and it's definitely a lot more fun.
Definitely a lot more fun. And I think that it's important for us to realize that fun doesn't have to go into our calendar when everything else has been scheduled. So I like doing yoga, and there are certain yoga classes and instructors that I prefer. So I have it set up in my calendar tentatively to do yoga at 6 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursdays, at 9:30 on Fridays, and 9:30 or 10 on Saturday. Doesn't mean that I always keep those, especially like the Friday one, because that is kind of in my work day. And I work with quite a bit of people overseas, especially in Asia and Australia, because they're on like the opposite time frame. So occasionally I will take 6 and 7 a.m. meetings, but I have it there, and I have permission for myself to move 2 workouts of the 4 during the week. Now, I'm not allowed to move all 4 of them because I need to still do it. And if I'm not going to yoga, it's usually me taking my 2 little rescue Chorky mixes, we think they are, on walks. 3 miles, and they're still ready to go. And I'm like, seriously, y'all are killing me here. But so I'll do that instead. But I've got my fun in there because, yes, I know yoga is exercise, but like it just rejuvenates me, makes me feel better. So I love my yoga. And so I've got it set up in my calendar in advance. So I can make the decision if I need to move it, but I've created the boundaries of I'm only allowed to move 2 of the 4 in the week.
Okay.
And that way, it's always there.
I love that. I love that. What I heard was you give yourself permission to change it up within your established boundaries for yourself. And I also heard there that part of adding fun to your work is not necessarily always in a networking environment, but also making sure that it's in a self-care environment as well.
Yeah, I think that, we talked about delegating the things that you don't like. I think your self-care needs to be at a high top of the list. And I think most people put it down at the bottom and they're like, I'll take care of everything else first. If you're able to give yourself, for most people, like I finally became a meditator. Well, I don't know if I feel that way, but I'm on a streak of like 457 days. So I feel like, okay, I've been doing it for over a year. And I talk to people all the time. I don't have time for meditation. And I'm like, some days, today, I'm on Zoom quite a bit. I've had 3 interviews that I'm doing, 2 interviews that I'm giving, a book club call, all kinds of stuff. However, I've got to meditate. So I use the Headspace app. There are many out there. That's the one I happen to turn on to and like. And so my meditation was 5 minutes this morning.
Permission to change within boundaries.
Right. So ideally, I want to meditate 10 to 20 minutes. Today, that just wasn't in the cards. So I'm at least doing the bare minimum. If I can't go on, to a yoga class that's an hour, can I do 5 or 10 minutes worth of yoga? My health coach, Danielle Rush, has like online stuff so I can go and pick how much time do I have. If I can't do a whole like ab workout, which I'm never doing anyway, can I at least plank for 60 seconds?
I like that. So I like to multitask when I'm meditating. So I have there are ways to do it. There are ways to do it. So I have a little red light therapy thing. So I do red light therapy with my earbuds in and a grounding mat under my feet. Let's get all 3 in that same 15 minutes. Right.
Yes.
And it actually, it helps me to justify that time because it's really easy to say this is so important. But because I've got 3 things going on, it's harder to talk myself out of 3 things than it is for me to talk myself out of 1. Right. So yeah, I really appreciate that permission to change it up.
On the meditation thing, it's so funny. If I'm having a bad day, I might be talking to my husband about it. He's like, Tiffany, did you meditate yet today? I'm like, no. He's like, you should probably go do that. I'm like, yes. Like not only can I tell a difference, so sometimes I forget, but he will be like, and it's not that I'm like upset or I'm just like feeling a little bit stressed or anxious. He's like, have you meditated? And I'm like, no. He's like, go meditate. And then I usually feel better. And so 3 or 5 minutes a day to feel better is totally worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually this week put my morning routine on a Post-it note on my fridge because I'd noticed that I had been forgetting little bits and bites of it. And then my morning doesn't work out the way I would really like it to.
Yeah.
And then what that does for me too is if I'm running out of time, then I can look at my list and make that decision of what am I going to change up.
Yeah.
And in order that, because then I'm coming from choice. It's not quite default, right?
Right.
So,
and sometimes we forget, like, oh yeah, I could be doing this or I could be doing that. So sometimes nice to have that list or have, the reminders or, okay, what really does help me make the most? And and if y'all are watching this, like, oh my gosh, Tiffany must work all the time. No, I just binged a new Netflix series this weekend. I mean, I've got the time, but it's about making the choice of where do I want to spend my time? And is it okay that I'm going to binge this on Netflix? Have I balanced it out? Or sometimes I don't like balance. Have I created harmony in my week that's okay? I'm a big believer of work hard, play hard, and don't do anything in between. Like let's make the most of every minute. And for me, that a lot. Every minute I need you to either say, am I making money or am I having fun? And if the answer is no to both, one or the other is okay. But if the answer is no to both, I mean, there are some things you can't help, like you do have to go to the funerals or stuff like that. But 99% of the time, money or fun, or I'm not doing it.
Well, and that makes a lot of sense. I really loved what you were saying about harmony. You said because sometimes balance just doesn't work, and I agree because there's that work-life balance thing, and can it happen? sometimes, but more often than not, it's work and life integration. How do they work together? How are they in harmony? So I really like that. I really like that what you're inviting people to do is consciously choose the different aspects of our life, consciously choose to go for that walk for yourself or to go for that walk to make connection, right? So that's what I'm hearing a lot of is that conscious choice of harmony, that conscious choice of changing it up, the
Yeah.
conscious choice of which of my own boundaries do I want to honor.
Right. And I think we have to make our boundaries and we can play around with them. I don't usually do evenings and weekends. I'm tomorrow night starting a series that starts at 8 p.m., which is hard for me. So I have nap time in my schedule tomorrow afternoon to do, because I know this is outside of my normal boundary, but it fit the qualifications of, am I willing to do this? I've woken up at 1 o'clock in the morning before. It's kind of hard because I go to sleep, I wake up, do the program, then I have to calm down, and then I finally go back to sleep, but then I don't work the next morning. And so it is to me about finding harmony. And I think about balance, and I'm into yoga, as I mentioned, and I can do the tree pose and some of the other poses, but for how long? Anytime we're balancing, it takes more of our energy out of us. I think about harmony in music, and it's interwoven, and sometimes it's discord. It's not always perfect, but there's a flow to it. And I think that if we give ourselves permission not to live this perfect life of a balance and get to live in harmony, we're just going to be happier. And I'm all about being happier.
Well, and that ties back to what we were talking about in the very beginning about the perfect moment. What if now was that perfect moment? And I think when we're coming from that perspective of permission to change things, harmony, honoring our boundaries, making great connections, we are actually making the appropriate choices to make this our perfect moment.
Yeah.
So, okay, we are just about at the end of our time. Is there anything that you feel is really important to kind of tie this up and wrap it in a bow?
So I have two quick things. One, for those of you with your own business, I love hosting fun client events. We had a sushi and sake party one time. We went to a lightning game, Tampa Bay Lightning. We have gone to axe throwing, gone to Busch Gardens, gone to the beach, gone kayaking. So I like to throw best client events because you're building a bond with your clients and you're telling them the best so that they love you. And so I think that's one more way that we can bring this play into work. And I find that the clients that like us more are more loyal to us and they'll refer us more. And so it's a win. And speaking of a win, kind of to wrap it all up, you are human. You are not perfect. Nobody out there is doing this perfectly. And if you try to be perfect, that again is kind of like the balance. It's going to take a ton of work. Be authentic to who you are. I'm sharing a whole bunch of fun things. I mean, it's literally on my wall. It's a huge thing to me. For you, it might be more intimate connections. So thinking about, how do I bring this in as an intimate connection? How do I bring this in as a partnership? What is important to you in your life? And the more you can bring that into all aspects of your life, the better your life will be.
I love that because I know I'm like you, and fun is one of my higher values. So I really appreciate it. And sometimes it maybe the highest value is harmony. Maybe the highest value is connection, right? And so I love that you're saying, take this and make it you. So wonderful. Okay. So how do our listeners find you?
All right. So to make it easy, I do have to say thanks to my parents. That being younger, I didn't like the fact that my name ended in an IE. As an adult, I love it because I haven't found, there may be, but I haven't found any other Tiffany Kellogg's out there on the social media world. So I was able to scoop up at Tiffany Kellogg on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I have a TikTok account, but I'm not there often. I'm not cool enough yet for TikTok. I'm working on it. And I also have a YouTube channel, and it's all at Tiffany Kellogg to make it super easy. The website is tiffanykellogg.com, all of that fun stuff.
Perfect. That's really easy. Thank you so much for your time, Tiffany. I got so much value out of this, and there's a lot of wheels turning in my head right now on how I can use this for myself. Because I love the ideas you shared. And yeah, especially the don't worry about house cleaning. Get someone else to do it.
Not control your spouses and your partners. Tiffany said I should be working and not cleaning the house. So we got to pay somebody to clean the house, or you do it.
That sounds like an Tiffany to me. Okay.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tiffany.
Thank you.
And thank you for those of you out in Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine. We really appreciate you. I hope you found value in this, and put it in the comments. What was it that you got a value out of this? What stuck out for you? And for those of you out in YouTube land, we want the same from you too. Throw those comments in. What did you get? What made sense to you? What inspiration came out of this for you? And then come on over to Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine in Facebook. Thanks, and have an absolutely brilliant day.